What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Online Total War Battles, and this has probably been my favourite one I've recorded so far. So the first episode of this show I decided to do was because I played a random online battle that happened to be against a streamer, and I beat him, and that was really great. If you want to go back and watch that first episode, he was the Vampire Lords. And I remember jumping straight onto the stream afterwards and just having a chat with him. He's really cool. You should check him out. His full stream name is Titan Strategy. The Titans are all in capitals, so please be sure to go check that out. Really good stream if you're into Total War stuff. And yeah, so this game I happened to be looking for a match, jumped onto Twitch, saw he was on, asked if he needed a second, and he said yeah. So I was like, oh, this is it. I've beaten him, now I want to win with him. And so he was running that day Dark Spear and Dark Elf builds for his viewers. So he's running a lot of infantry. And, oh wow, I didn't even notice that at the time. There was a Wild Rider sitting on there. Okay. But yeah, he's running a Dark Elf build, right? And he's got a lot of infantry. He said it was one he found players were using against him. So I think the basic premise of it is you engage with the crappy infantry. You kite with the Black Arcs because they can fire whilst moving. If they counter, you charge in with the Witch Elves and then use the Black Guard of Nagaron to deal with any high tier units. I'm not quite sure what the plan was with the Death Hag or the Dark Rider Shields. I know what that was for. I asked him for a bit more mobility because I am running a Dwarf army, and the Dwarves are not very quick. They are awesome tanky units, probably my favourite units to play. Just ahead of Chaos, yeah. Chaos and Dwarves, they're easily my favourite. And so I said, I'll be the tank. You don't worry about it, just give me a bit of mobility. And we are up against some Bretonnians. And they are running the every online player's Bretonnian build, which is Field Trebuchet. Blessed, always blessed Field Trebuchet, sit at the back of the map play. And so I prepared for this. I brought in 3 artillery of my own. And thought, okay, I can counter that. We can exchange lots of fire, and hopefully I'll win that engagement. What I didn't count on was the other side of the 2v2. Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. It's a 2v2. It was the Arguillion, the elves. I'm probably absolutely murdering the pronunciation of that. So what they had done was grabbed a bunch of Vanguard deploy units and had just laid them everywhere. They were all in this canyon. They were behind us. And as it turns out, now that I don't have Fog of War with this, they were sat at the back of the map too. Which would have been horrible if this ended up playing out as we wanted. So the basic idea was that I would use my artillery to force them out of position. This plan obviously instantly failed, because they have lots of blessed Field Trebuchets and they're usually going to win. I thought I might have a chance with my 3v2, until, as I said, these archers get involved and they just start absolutely peppering my artillery. They didn't stand a chance, and I got distracted during this artillery engagement by these hidden elves. I believe I even spammed the pen on the map to try and get his attention as soon as I noticed them, because as I said, I asked him to bring in the mobility so he could come deal with them. So Dark Riders, not the best cavalry, but then again, they don't exactly have elite cavalry apart from cold ones. But they'll serve the purpose. They'll catch these elves, keep them in place, and let me catch up my dwarves. And so that is where we start. Oh, I should probably go over my build. I'm running some Iron Breakers, because of course I am. They're absolutely my favourite unit. They just stop everything in their tracks, and they stick it out right till the end. We got some Longbeards again, because they're really good backup infantry. They'll deal with most. Basically, I consider them melee, medium melee, and these heavy melee. So these are my big boys, and these are my average. Then I got my Bugman's Rangers again. There because they're just really good range, best range on the Dwarven range units, I'm pretty sure. And these, my ace in the hole, my Iron Drakes, these guys will absolutely shatter morale. They will destroy it in enemy units, and they are what I was banking on. So I think there we go, we just saw that he sent in the order for units to start moving to counter this Elven charge. Hasn't sent the Dark Riders yet, but he sees that I'm taking a lot of damage. They're going after my Slayers, which is annoying because they were my anti-cav, because I was predicting cav. Which I couldn't see all of this. So all of these Bretonnian Grail Knights over here, I couldn't see any of them, and the Questing Knights. So I thought this was it. I couldn't see the archers here, I couldn't see the archers up there, and it really made us suffer. They used the leader's magic a lot. So yeah, let's press play and see what was happening, shall we? Yeah, as you'd expect, mostly an artillery game at first. A lot of exchanging of fire. Just big damage on both sides, and you can see the range shots in the back. I believe I focused the cannon on different units as I went on. I started noticing some heavy units like battle pilgrims and decided to try and take them out because they could counter my my iron breakers quite well. So this is it. This is exactly what I anticipated, me trying to chase them down, not being able to catch them. But look at this. Titan comes in with a big Malekith dragon and it absolutely crushes this half of them. Oh, a little bit of friendly fire there, but that's okay. What's a little bit of death between friends? Again, look at this, just, they didn't really stand a chance. I was far too distracted with the backhand. So let's stick it back on K so we can just get an idea of what's going on. Look at all these archers, just all of them stacked up. Hawk's arrows, Way Watchers, just so many. They even have some big hole-punching treekins to just break through lines. So yeah, it's not looking great for us at the moment. They're managing to take out the artillery, they're kiting our rear guard. Look at how many slayers I've lost compared to their very cheap Deepwood scouts in comparison. And he's moved all of his forces over to me with seeing what's happened, because he thinks, as I did, they're all centered here. We didn't know about this, and we did not know about that guy over there. Oh, and the field trebuchets switched to him as a target. And I think for the next couple minutes at least, this is basically the whole game. They trapped the horses. That's why. I remember why. That's why the horses, I forgot they were here, because they get trapped and absolutely shredded. That's a tactic a lot of forest elf players like to use. I'm not a huge fan of forest elves. I think they basically require non-direct engagements. They're very baby units for new players that just want to shoot and run with few casualties as possible. I feel like real veterans of the game commit to races such as vampire lords and stuff, because there are a lot of trading, a lot of movement and playing well. So yeah, here we go, the Bretonnians at this point, feeling pretty confident. They move up their units, they think my artillery is completely gone, so they don't have to worry about that. I did manage to pull out my cannons. So the cover of Malekith, the Dark Elf, and all of this other confusion, and the trees especially played a huge part for me, allowed me to pull out. So at this point, Titan was getting a little disheartened. He doesn't like playing online. I was listening to the stream at the same time, which was he must have had a delay on it, because it was a bit behind, but yeah, I would hear things as they were happening. And he gets really disheartened by this sort of tactic, the whole sit back and deal out damage and not really. But what I noticed was these guys, these players, they're not focusing high value targets. They're not noobs. I'm not going to say that because obviously they have the leg up on us, but they are not focusing like they should be. Okay, so I think this was the moment. It was at this moment that Titan gave up. I think it was just a mix of frustration, and also he had a friend waiting for him to do something else in a stream. So at this point, the AI takes over the Dark Elves, and they just full-on charge. Like, all of my strategy of holding back, letting them pepper me a bit, drawing them in, is now just down the toilet, because all of the Dark Elf army is about to just charge head first at this Elf and Bretonnian coalition, and it's not going to go well. Oh no, it must not be yet, because he's not charging. Well, spoilers, he leaves. So yeah, I pull back and I use the woods. That's my plan at the moment. Again, didn't know that these guys were hidden over here, but I hide in patches of wood so that the Blessed Field Trebuchets attack the targets I want. So the only targets I leave out are my Lord, because he has massive armor, massive magical resistance, and these like catapult units, so that mostly when they use their ammo, it's not hitting the people I want them to hit. And all of my big tanky boys, look, you can see they've only taken a little bit of damage. If 73 is the max, these guys have only got 58. That's not too bad. I'll hide my Bugmans at the back in prediction for some sort of flank. Again, I didn't know these cavalry were here, so I didn't know they were coming, but I did see a thing coming. Oh, this was the thing. That was it. So, yeah, Malekith gets trapped, and that really annoys him. He tries to make a quick exchange of fire. That's never going to work, because the range on these guys is terrible, isn't it? 70. You look at the range on these guys, 140, literally double. They got waves upon waves. They could basically volley fire like old musket style tactics. So that was never going to be a positive exchange in our favour. What we needed was this sort of play. This is what we need to do. We need to bulk our forces, allow them to come in, deal some damage, and allow them to retreat. Think they have the advantage with the range. Again, using the trees to hide our high value targets. Then just bring them in, bring them out, bring them in, bring them out. So use all their ammo because they're not micromanaging well. As I said, they are leaving their people on just fire at will. I mean, look at how much ammo has been used up already. And they've managed to take out, what, some artillery units and half of my slayers. Again, the Dark Elves have taken more damage, but as I said, that was mostly because they made charges forward. Yeah, this is definitely the moment he left. Look at this. It's a full-on charge from the Dark Elves. Just straight down the valley. In fact, let's just get a quick look at this. Just absolutely going for it. No worries in the world. The AI has absolutely no tactics in its blood to wait. They want a full-on charge, and that's what they get. So they charge straight down this valley. And I'm pretty sure these guys are smart enough to know not to meet them. They just let them come. They get absolutely peppered on the way. I believe at least a third of their forces die before they get there. It's a big number. I mean, look at these volleys coming in. It's just devastating. Look at that. It's just carnage. They do have higher T units like the Nagarons, but it's not going to mean much if... Look at all this devastation. This is exactly what you don't want to do against a Forest Elves build. You want them to come to you. You want to bait them out in any way you can. Don't give an inch. Because when you give an inch, look at that. Even the Dragon Breath from the AI only skirts the edge of a unit. It goes for a Lord, which isn't going to do as much damage as if he had just broken a unit straight away with that Dragon Breath. Yeah, we're going to have a very, very intense fight in the middle here. It's going to be all out because the Bretonnians are pretty confident after he left. They send in a charge. Look at that. Some spells going off. But look at this. The Forest Elves not even worried. Most of their units in reserve. Blessed Field Trebuchet is still just chipping away. Which is really messing with me. Big damage there. Whereas if we have a look at what I'm doing, I'm consolidating all my forces. So at this point, the cavalry has revealed themselves, and I change everything about what I'm doing. So I'm in complete reserve mode at the moment. I am trying to consolidate every single man that I can. Still don't know these guys exist, and they come into play in a bit. But yeah, I figure my best plan at this point is let the AI absorb as much ammo as they can. So I didn't care about numbers. I didn't care if every single AI soldier died, frankly. What I needed was the AI to absorb all the bullets that were happening, all the arrows, all of the breaths, all of the magic, as much as it could. Because that will allow me to have, you heard it, an Ironbreaker's last stand, which is easily my favourite thing to do in Total War. So I move forward with some rangers. I tell myself I can try and get some chip shots in these cavalry, which is exactly what I do. But again, the Bretonnians are very, very confident here, and they run straight into my Iron Drakes and crossbows. You can see they turn around as soon as they realise how much damage they're taking. Quickly go to K, so they're pretty confidently running at the cannons, and then look at this. Instantly run. Boom, look at that. Devastating Iron Drakes. And these are high armor units, like they shouldn't have been taking that much damage. Again, AI just soaking up more damage, soaking up more bullets. Malekith's almost gone, so the rest are going to shatter pretty soon. But the Dark Spears are working pretty well for me, to be honest. I mean, high cavalry, high large unit armies like this, having all these spears is very useful, tie them down. And here we go. This is where they come into play. They come in and they take my cannons. I had no idea this unit existed. This was easily the most well thought play of the game, because I would never have thought to look in our own woods at the very back of the map, and I will from now on. I tell you that. I'm going to keep one cavalry unit in armies that have them and just scout from corner to corner when a battle like this starts. So at this point I go, okay, they're going to mop up what's left of the Dark Elves. They're coming. I know they're coming. So I put my Slayers out in the open because I'm like, they can take the shots. I want my Slayers to take the shots. They're not going to break. The Blessed Field Trebuchet's magical attacks doesn't make any difference because they have no armor. It's going to do the damage it does. The cavalry is still convinced to try to take out my catapults and cannons, which this whole time I have been focusing on these large units. So I've been chipping away at them. You can see there's only 5 left. Usually they have 12, so that worked out pretty well for me. Getting rid of their 7 big troll units. So here we go. Look at this. I've consolidated my lines and I have a clear plan of attack. I know these horse are coming. They're out in the open. They're not hidden. So I know they're coming. I'm fine with it. Bugman's here trying to take out this blessed cavalry with my Iron Drakes. And I tell you what, these guys are such cost-effective units, the Iron Drakes. They did so much for me. So as you can see, Dark Spears running away, most of the Dark Elf forces just absolutely giving up. And I don't blame them. Look at all this. Look at all those numbers still to come. There's even still ammo coming through at them. This is what I'm talking about. They didn't micromanage well enough. Look at all of these retreating, broken, low-cost units. Dread Spears. Very, very low tiers. Nothing to worry about. Because they know there's nothing to worry about. They just defeated them. And yet, they're all still firing. Look at how little ammo. These guys are out. These guys are almost out. And I tell you, I think the battle would have gone a completely different way if they had focused this properly. So I sent in my leader to take out these Grail Knights because they're low tier compared to my leader. But they do get through. The Bugmans are ready for it. They turn around, they start firing, and I'm moving some Longbeards. Another unit of Grail Knights, I think these are Questing Knights, actually come out, and they do get a good charge off in the back of these Longbeards. But look at this, I've set up my defences. The Iron Breakers have started letting out their explosives. I have the Iron Drakes constantly firing on the high value targets. So at the moment they're constantly focusing on Wild Riders and Grail Knights. They need to get rid of the cavalry. It's much better mobility than my army has, and it'll be absolutely devastating. So even though I can see this entire infantry charge coming, I know it's coming, I am focusing entirely on keeping these cavalry at bay. Every single second I am just leaving these guys on their own, and I am focusing. I'm using the Slayers to run around and engage anyone that comes in close. Like these are Grail Knights here, I believe I inset with my leader and yeah, there you go, instantly divert my Slayers and they get in hard. So here you can see we've got the main front. It's going to be real tense. This is basically trench warfare at this point, and my Iron Breakers are my trench. Look at that, absolutely devastating. So the other thing about the AI charging out was that I think it gave the other players too much confidence, because they then seemed to all do an all-out charge as well, which was a mistake. I think if they had every advantage and no reason to charge, and they did charge, and the last thing you want to do against a Dwarven army is charge, because look at this, it doesn't matter what you send, these guys aren't gonna break. They are Iron Breakers through and through, and they are never ever gonna give in. So we still got the Iron Drakes here, still, as I said, trying to hit those. The trees are getting in the way a little bit, but that's just the physics for you. This random unit of Way Watchers came, so I thought I could crush them quite quickly. These guys are holding their own back here. And I'm still worried about these guys. As you can see, they're just coming in and out, but I need to crush them. They are focusing way too hard on this choke. For some reason, they're sending units a million miles around where they're never going to be able to catch up with me. And I don't know why they did that. That was another dreadful mistake. If they'd have taken them and instead swung around here, I'd be in a lot more trouble. But no, as I said, they just keep focusing. My Iron Breakers wall. This wall is never going to crumble. I don't care what you throw against it. As long as I am freeing up these back units here, they never stood a chance in this front. Not a single chance. Because look, some Bugmans are free. They're going to absolutely pepper all these clumped up units. That's just really good efficiency for my range units. Iron Drakes taking out high value targets. Look at that cavalry. Absolutely shattered in the face of them. My Lord, every, I believe, 90 seconds was popping an ability that increases the armor. So it means even if they do engage, it's not going to do much damage. They do still have some range, but look at this. They use so much ammo that I'm not in the slightest bit worried. They have one unit of peasant bowmen. And they're pox arrow bowmen. They're specifically designed to slow things down, not deal big damage. So why are you trying to slow down my Bugman rangers? It's pointless. So here we go. They're still charging Iron Breakers. I don't get it. Look, charge defense against all. There's no way they're going anywhere. So look at this. They engage with their leader. Instant mistake. I absolutely destroy her. And it frees up all of this left flank. I consolidate some units at the back here because I know these spears are coming. Because as I said, they went a really long way around. Don't know why they did that. So these Bugmans are just free to absolutely destroy. Look at all these breaking units. They did engage with their Treekin. And this is where I might have been in trouble. If it wasn't for the fact that they freed up my Slayers. So you see these Slayers? I'm going to bring them in. I'm going to hit these Treekin. And after these Bugmen are out of ammo, they're going to charge in as well. So now that we know generally what's about to happen, let's just get some cool shots in here. Oh, big charge there. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Just carnage here. So let's just sweep round. This front was where the entire battle linchpinned. If they had just tried to surround me, those Iron Breakers would have maybe broken, but from a straight-on assault, never. Look at this. freed up my flank. Leader's coming in. He's going to give them all of his aura buffs. And I send in some of my Longbeards to prepare for this fight. And my Bugman Rangers, they're still going. So I sound confident here. It's because I know generally where the fight goes. During the fight, I was absolutely panicking. Remember, I was with the AI. I was on my own 2v1. And somehow I was pulling it through. So here we go. Longbeards are about to engage. Let's get a really good shot here. Boom! Look at that. Lovely. But these are very low tier spear units up against axe units. They didn't really stand a chance. The only advantage they had was that my men were tired and theirs weren't. But then look, I've even got even more Longbeards to free up. Bugman's Rangers, they're now going, I believe, to save my Iron Drakes. Yep, there they go. They're going to save the Iron Drakes because a random unit of archers managed to slip through and I need these guys alive. At which point I refocus these guys on these Treekin. Because if I can break them, that's most of their damage dealing ability just gone. Look at this though. Oh yeah, I forgot. The AI does bring some Dread Spears in. They come in and they keep distracting the enemy, which is all I really needed. So here we still got this front going on. The extra unit of spears tries to get through, and look at this. In comes my Bugman Rangers to save the Iron Drakes. And the Iron Drakes take that opportunity to retreat in a second and get back on the Treekin. More elves come in, but I'm not worried about that. Look at that tiny little unit. And over here on this front, still just absolute bedlam though. Look at this. Absolutely amazing. But look at this, all they have is peasant archers, way watchers, the Treekin are what I'm worried about. They seem to use a spell to lock me in place, but I'm already engaged in melee with them. I'm not worried about pulling out, so I don't understand that decision either. Over here at the back, pulling my leader, because as I said, Iron Drakes for everything I needed at that time. So they get to pull out, they get to focus, and let's have a look at what damage they do. So we're looking for like the steam shots with these guys. They do absolutely ridiculous damage against these Treekin. Look at that. Look at those steam shots coming in. Destroying this line of Treekin. Look at that. Never stood a chance. Because I've got Iron Breakers that have charged defense against all. They don't have anti-large, but they don't need it. My Slayers did, and that's what counted. And look at this. This war of attrition is coming to an end. They've only got low tier elf units back here, still holding off. This fight was probably the closest fight in the whole battle. As it turns out, exhaustion made a big difference, and I had something like 32 left against 22 at that point, but it was like a 3-to-1 ratio at one point. So they finally break, which frees up even more of my troops to come over here and really finish up what's left of this line. Look at it, it's the last stand. Thing of beauty though. People start to break, and there you have it. A 2v1 victory online. I couldn't be happier with the way that went, to be honest. I would like to play with that streamer Titan again. Please go check out his channel, it's Titan Strategy on Twitch. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
Win that. Sorry man that I rage quitted. I just wanted to join you know, low-key I wanted to join J-Dog's game. GG Rock. However you did it, nice.